Welcome to the last talk in our school readiness series. Today we have Santoshini Madurai here from Club Engage Aftercare Services. Santoshini is one of our regular speakers, and we have a great topic today. It's cultivating grit. And we were talking just before we pressed live about immunity and vitamins and all those things as well. So thank you, JungleVites, for sponsoring this whole series. Our kids need a bit of support. They need to cultivate grit, but their immunity also needs a bit of support while they're getting all this exposure. So get your JungleVite gummies, they go down like a treat. And now let's get right, because I know you've got like 2 pages of notes. It feels to me like every generation has got a little bit less grit than the one before. Like my mom is 85 and did a huge tour of Europe a while ago. I don't think I could have managed what she managed. And I feel like I'm tougher than the millennials, being a Gen X, And now we're on a new generation. So, what's all this talk? Grit is a little bit of a buzzword. So, what is it, first of all?
So absolutely, Helen. I mean, our kids nowadays are actually navigating stresses that didn't exist a generation ago. So you're on point there. But now let's talk about what grit actually is, because like I said, it's a buzzword and there's a whole lot of people talking about it. But I think many of us don't really understand what it is and why it's so important. So grit really is the softer element of resilience. So I'm going to start there.
Okay.
So resilience is the ability to adapt and thrive in the face of challenge. It really is the scenario where adversity hits and you think about what's going on, about assessing that situation, adapting the strategy, and then jumping back in. Okay. It's about bouncing back, and it really determines whether you bend or you break.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So resilience, like I said, is the softer element of grit. And I want you to imagine this. So think about filtering sand. So a whole lot of the sand particles will filter through your sieve, but there are those tiny particles that just cannot be broken down and will not go through that sieve. And that is what grit is. It is that powerful element that remains with you forever and a day and keeps you sturdy and steady. So what's resilience, guys? So resilience is really the passion and perseverance to pursue long-term goals, even when there's stuff going on, even when there are roadblocks, and that end line seems just so far away. It's the ability for our children to hold onto the stamina, which we're actually able to mold.
Yeah.
To hold onto that stamina and to keep going. Actioning the situation. It is about us understanding that resilient and gritty children are the ones that show up in a courageous way, with concerted effort, and with lots of character. And essentially, that's what we want our children to become, to grow into resilient, gritty adults who can navigate life, because life is full of ups and downs, and can ensure that when they're faced with a challenge, they sit down, they assess what's going on, they adapt the strategy, and they action.
But when it comes to 3 to 5 year olds, I'm sure some of them are pretty gritty, like you said, they fall, they get up, they carry on playing. But how do you cultivate that if maybe your child doesn't have a natural ability towards grit, or are we born with it, or do we,
I get you, Helen.
Yeah, especially for these little ones.
So there's lots of things that parents can teach their children.
Okay.
And grit is absolutely one of them.
Okay, so it's teachable. It's
absolutely teachable.
Okay.
And we must look upon it as the building blocks to a successful adult.
Yeah.
So let's jump into why resilient and gritty children are especially, I think, we need to build these things in them.
Yeah.
And yes, they're teachable. So number one, resilient and gritty children are the ones that, like I said, get up and keep going. And in the ever-changing world that we're in right now, adaptability is key. Again, they're dealing with stresses that didn't exist a generation ago.
Yeah.
So they need to understand how to self-regulate, assess emotion, calm themselves down, assess the situation, move along. So how do we build this? There's key factors that, and I think, when we talk about teaching these things, parents say, oh, it must be so difficult. Actually, it can be done in 10 minutes every day.
Okay.
And it can be done on the drive home. I think the last time I spoke about the drive home from school, about why it's so important.
Yeah.
So number one, let's normalize emotions.
Okay. So it's not about denying emotions, normalizing them. Yeah. And naming them.
Absolutely. Naming emotions, Asking the question, why are you feeling like that? Reinforcing that it's okay to feel sad. Because what you're doing is, again, normalizing that humans are made up of a myriad of emotions.
Okay. And they pass.
Absolutely.
They don't stick around. Yeah.
Exactly. And when we talk about emotion, we need to teach them that and reinforce that emotions pass and they're very manageable.
Yes.
So the second thing is normalize failure.
Normalize failure.
Yeah. So we need to reframe failure as a stepping block to growth.
Because you've learned something that you can apply, hopefully, and move on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Number 3, let's talk about a growth mindset here.
Yeah.
It is about continuous learning. So as parents, we want to jump in and we want to control this.
Yeah.
And yes, we are our children's champions and we must protect them. But we also need to caution against helicopter parenting and overprotecting, even though it comes from a place of love.
Yes.
We need to let them struggle safely.
And it can be small things, right? If your child is struggling with a button, all you need to do is give a bit of time for them to try with the button. Don't jump in and do the button. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's about, when I spoke about adapting the strategy, ask the question, what could you do next?
Yeah.
And that's so important because when children learn to trust their own abilities, that's a powerful shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. What you're doing is that you're actually building independence. With these three little tools, you build independence. And I know, for all those mamas with 2-year-olds, you're like, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
It really is about building that independence because what we need to remember as parents, that we're not parenting for now.
Yeah.
We're parenting for when we're not around.
Yes.
And our children generally are not with us for the better part of the day.
Yeah.
So the fourth thing is about locus of control. You need to ask your child in a situation when those big emotions come, what could you have done better?
Yes.
What do you think could have been the trigger for this? And a three-year-old is able to say, well, I fell down and I scraped my knee. Why did it happen? Maybe I was running too fast. Or maybe I wasn't watching where I was going. So it's really about teaching that child to assess the situation. The other thing is that gritty adults, and yes, I know I'm talking about gritty adults now, but our babas are going to grow into our big babas, and that's what, again, we essentially parenting towards. Gritty adults understand the play of serenity. It really is about understanding what you can change, what you can't change.
Yeah.
And us as parents, building those blocks to understand, to give them the wisdom to understand the difference.
Thank you so much. Our time is up. I found that really quite inspiring. And really a lot of the advice for the little ones and the preschoolers, whatever, it also becomes like quite useful again when they're teens, because a lot of this, I know that's weird, a lot of the same stuff pops up when they're teens. That stuff about what you can and can't control and how you react to it. So these things are good lessons for life, and even if you find yourself freaking out about something.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we will have you back for sure. And that's the end of our series. Remember, if you participate in the comments, JungleVites sponsored a really amazing gift, and that one of you will win. So I hope there have been lots of comments and highs and advice. And remember to support your child's immunity with a good multivit and mineral like JungleVites.